Hello, welcome to Learn Commonalizer channel. We're going to discuss about calculus chapter 1, derivatives of polynomials. We'll do all calculus chapter, so we are starting with the first chapter, d over dx, ax b. Derivative of ax b with respect to x is equals to b ax b minus power of b minus 1, whereas a is constant of coefficient, and b is constant of exponent, and this dx, it means derivative. To take derivative with respect to x. When is dx with respect to x? When is theta with respect to theta, with respect to the variable x. So d of ax power of b with respect to dx is equals to b, which is constant of exponent, times a, which is constant of coefficient, times x, b minus 1. b is constant of exponent minus 1. So this is the formula for derivatives of polynomials. Now let's start with examples. We are doing 12 examples. At the end, you'll be competent with derivatives of polynomials. Now let's start with the first example. D of dx 8x power of 4. Derivative of 8x power of 4 with respect to x is equals to, now we take here the first a is 8 and b is 4. So b here, which is 4, constant of exponent, we take constant of exponent, which is 4, times a, which is constant of coefficient, which is 8, times x power of b, constant of exponent, which is 4 minus 1, is equals to 4 times 8 is 32. X power of 4 minus 1 is 3, so 32x power of 3. This is the answer. Okay, hope it's clear. Now let's go to the second example. Derivative of 5x power of negative 2 with respect to x. So here we multiply negative 2 constant of exponent times 5, which is constant of coefficient, times x power of negative 2 minus 1. Now negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. X power of 3, negative 2 minus 1 is 3, negative 3. So this is the answer. Also it can be written as negative 10, this one, negative 10 over x power of negative 3 is same as writing denominator x power of 3. So this is the better and the best answer, but all are correct. Okay, now let's go to example 3. Hope example 2 is clear. Example 3 is derivative of 1 over t with respect to t. Let's put this in terms of exponent. It will be the derivative of t power of negative 1 with respect to t, and this it is in form of exponent. So to be in form of to have form of exponent, constant of exponent, and a constant of coefficient. So it will be 1 t power of negative 1. So we find this derivative of 1 t power of negative 1, which is same as our question, which is 1 over t. So our exponent is negative 1 times our coefficient is 1 times t power of negative 1. Here t, it should be t power of negative 1 minus 1. So is negative 1 t power of negative 2. So this is the correct answer. So our answer will be negative 1 over t square. Hope it's clear with my mistake. Let's go to example 4. D, derivative of 8x power of 7 over 4 with respect to the x. Our exponent is 7 over 4 times our coefficient is 8 times x power of 7 over 4 minus 1. Now 7 times 8 is 56 divided by 4. X power of 7 over 4 minus 1 is 3 over 4. 56 divided by 4 is 14. X power of 3 over 4. So this is our answer. Okay, now let's go to example 5. Hope is clear with example 4. As we go further, we do more challenging example. So at the end of this chapter, you will be competent with these derivatives of polynomials. Derivative of example 5, derivative of x power of 3 over 5 divided by over 6 with respect to x. Here our exponent is 3 over 5 times our coefficient is 1 over 6 times x power of 3 over 5 minus 1. So here will be equals to 3 times 1 is 3 over 5 times 6 is 30. X power of 3 over 5 minus 1 is negative 2 over 5. Like 1 minus 3 over 5 is 2 over 5. So inverse will be negative. So 3 divided by 30 is 1 over 10. X power of negative 3 over 5. Or our answer will be 1 over 10 x power of 2 over 5. So this is the best answer, but all are correct. Now let's hope it's clear with this example. Let's go to example number 6. Derivative of u with respect to u. We are putting this in form of exponent and coefficient. It will be derivative of 1 u power of 1 with respect to u. our exponent is 1, our coefficient is 1 times u power of 1 minus 1. So 1 times 1 is 1, u power of 0, because 1 minus 1 is 0. So u power of 0 is same as 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. So our answer is 1. So you should note that u power of 0 is 1. Let's go to example. Hope it's clear. Let's go to example 7. The derivative of 2t square root of 2t with respect to t is equals to, we write this in form of exponent and coefficient. So here it will be 2t bracket a half outside, because 2t is a square root of 2t, so a half outside of bracket. Now when we take a half inside the bracket, it will be derivative of 2 a half times t power of a half with respect to t. Now our exponent is a half times our coefficient is 2 power of a half times t power of a half minus 1. So it will be, when we multiply 1 times 2 power of a half, it will be 2 power of a half divided by over 2. T power of, here a half minus 1 is negative a half. And then we simplify here 2 power of a half minus 2 power divided by 2 power of 1. So it will be 2 power of a half minus power of minus, when you divide it you minus the powers, so it will be a half minus 1 times t power of negative a half, then 2 power of negative a half t power of negative a half. So this can be written as 1 over, because all are negative powers, so it will go to the denominator, 2 power of a half t power of a half. Now we know a half is same as square root, so it's equals to 1 over square root of 2 times square root of t. So this will be 1 over square root of 2t. We rationalize the denominator from here, but the answer is okay. So let's rationalize it. Multiply by 2t, square root of 2t in numerator and denominator. So 1 times square root of 2t is square root of 2t over square root times square root, it will be 2t over 2t. So this is the answer. Hope it's clear. Yeah, this yeah, you come like this. Yeah, so this is the correct and the best answer for this question. If there's a problem, comment below, comment in the comment section. Now let's go to the next example. It will be example 8. Example 8, derivative of, with respect to the x, 1 over square root of x. Now this we write in form of exponent. It will be 1 over x power of a half, derivative with respect to x. This can, in exponent, will be x power of negative a half. Now this in form of exponent and coefficient. So our coefficient will be 1 times x power of negative a half. Now let's derive. We write first the exponent, which is negative a half, times our coefficient, which is 1, x power of negative a half minus 1. So this will be equals to negative a half times 1 is negative a half. So it will be, we write x power of negative a half minus 1 is negative 3 over 2 over 2 is negative a half, so is negative. So here this, because is power of exponent power is negative, so we write it in the denominator, so it will be negative 1 over 2x power of 3 over 2. Now this x power of 3 over 2 can be written as negative 1 over 2. It means is whole number times a half, so x power of x times square root of x, because square root of x is square root of a half. Now from here we rationalize the denominator, multiply by square root of x in numerator and in denominator, so it will be negative square root of x over 2x square, because square root of x times square root of x is x, so x times x is x square. So this is the answer. Hope it's clear. Now let's go to the 9th example. D over dx with respect to dx, derive 5x power of 3 plus 4x square minus 3x plus 2. Now we derive each term here. We derive 5x power of 3 with respect to dx plus derivative of 4x square with respect to x, and then minus derivative of 3x with respect to x, and then plus derivative of 2 with respect to dx. Now here our exponent is 3 times our coefficient is 5 times x power of 3 minus 1 plus our exponent is 2 times our coefficient, which is 4, times x power of 2 minus 1 minus our exponent is 1, so x is equals to x power 1, so it will be 1 times our coefficient is 3, x power of 1 minus 1. Derivative of constant is 0, so 3 times 5 is 15, x power of 3 minus 1 is 2, this is 8, x power of 2 minus 1 is 1, so here it will be negative 3, 1 times 3, x power of 0, so here to be 15x square plus 80x minus 3, because x power 0 is 1, so 3 times 1 is 3, so this is our answer. Hope it's clear. Now let's go to the next example number 10. Derivative of 1 minus u with respect to u. We derive each term, derivative of 1 with respect to u minus derivative of u with respect to u. Derivative of 1 with respect to u, when you derive constant is 0, and here when you derive, yet same as 1 u power of 1, so we write 1 as exponent times coefficient is 1, u power of 1 minus 1, so it will be equals to 0 minus 1 times 1 is 1 times u power of 0. U power of 0 is 1, so negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. So this is our answer. Hope it's clear. Note that I should remember that derivative of constant can be any number where there is no any number. Constant may be 1, 2, 3, any number, or negative. Constant derivative of constant is 0. So here you should note that. Now let's go to the next example. Example 12. Example 11. The last example is 12. So let's go. This will be a bit more challenging. Derivative of 4x power of 3 over 2 plus 12x power of a half with respect to dx. We derive first each term. Derivative of 4x power of 3 over 2 with respect to x plus derivative of 12x power of a half with respect to x. So it will be equals to, our exponent is 3 over 2 times our coefficient is 4 times x power of 3 over 2 minus 1 plus our exponent is a half times our coefficient is 12 x power of a half minus 1. So here 3 times 4 is 12 over 2 x power of this 3 over 2 is same as 1 a half minus, so 1 a half minus 1 minus 1 is 1, it remain a half, plus this is will be 12 over 2 x power of a half minus 1. It means denominator is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So 1 minus 2 is negative 1 over 2. So it will be x power of negative a half. Here it will be 6x power of a half plus 6x power of negative a half is equals to 6 x power of half is same as x power of x square root plus 6 over x square root because it's negative a half, so it will be in the denominator. Now rationalize the denominator from x square root. We multiply by square root of x in numerator and denominator. In this second part it will be 6 square root of x plus this time this will be x. Square root of x times x, square root of x is x. So this is our answer. Hope it's clear. Now let's go to the last example. The last example is derivative of, with respect to t, derivative of square root of t minus 1 over t with respect to t. Now we derive each term. Derivative of square root of t minus derivative of 1 over t. Now let's put all this in term of exponent and coefficient. So this, it will be derivative of t square root is t a half, coefficient will be 1 minus this 1 over t is same as t power of negative 1 in terms of exponent, and our coefficient is 1 is equals to, we multiply the exponent a half times our coefficient is 1 times t power of a half minus 1. Here our exponent is negative 1 times our coefficient is 1, t power of negative 1 minus 1. Now here when we multiply a half times 1 is a half, t power of a half minus 1 is negative a half, minus times minus, it will be plus t power of negative 2. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So here it will be a half, this is t power of negative a half, so it will be square root in numerator, and this one plus, and this it will be in numerator, but it will be t square. So here we rationalize the denominator from the square root of t. Square root of t multiplied by square root of t in numerator and denominator plus 1 over t square. So here it will be square root of t over 2, square root of t times square root of t is t, plus 1 over t square. So this is the answer. Now this is the last example. Next, let's be together in the next chapter in calculus up to the end. The next chapter, the second chapter, will be chain rule and product rule, chain rule, product rule, and quotient rule. Yeah, see you in the next video.